Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith of the Black Channel here, Ticker Talker, and it's Friday. And what you just witnessed was a simultaneous break. And if you don't know what that is, it's something you don't want to know about. So let me show you something. There's something I do. If you follow me on Twitter at Robin the Black, you'll see me tweet out a picture of a gorilla ringing a triangle, and that's when we have an equilibrium in the futures. And on my channel, you're hearing me do this. Ring the triangle. Do you know why? Because that means it's chow time. All right. And so, what do I mean by a simultaneous break? And what do I mean by an inside 60? Here. So, if you look at this SPY and you go to the 60-minute, you're going to notice this bar here on the lower left was inside of this. Couldn't take out the highs or the lows, right? If you take a look at the QQQ, you're going to see this. The inside 60, right? Couldn't take out the highs or the lows. The small cappers couldn't take out the highs or the lows. The diamonds couldn't take out the highs or the lows. And then all of them broke to the downside. That's called a simultaneous break. All of the futures broke at the same time, right? So if you've been buying anything in the last hour, good luck, all right? That was a sell. All right, so the simultaneous break can occur on a 60-minute basis, daily basis, weekly basis. It can be to all the futures. It can be sector specific, but it's something you want to know about. That's how you can identify high probability moves. When everything's breaking in the same direction, it's very difficult to reverse that, right? Because everything's going in the same way. So what does that leave us with here? It's a Friday, and so if we look at the S&P Spider, you're going to see this here, upper middle. We slightly took out the highs. But now we come back. Now we might run out of time, but we're closer to being an outside week to the downside, right? We've also changed the monthly to red. Now it would be a long way down to be an outside month, but was there something we call a compound outside bar, right? So what that means is that let's say we come in next week and take out the lows and start going through here. It would have been an outside week. You just ran out of time, right? So far, if you look at the daily, we had the outside day, outside day. Then we gapped down and tried to come up a little bit yesterday. Now we're starting to come back down. So this equilibrium here, those inside 60s, that would need to change if we're going back up. You can see we have a new hour and we're starting to fail again, right? So so far, most things are signaling to the downside, all right? That's important to know, right? What's going on, how many things are taking out previous week's lows, previous day's lows, monthly lows has got some distance, but things are starting to deteriorate just a bit here. So, if, like I said, with the weekly, how are you going to make this look good, right? How are you going to make this positive, right? Well, you'd have to have a new week next week and then go green. That could do it. Right now, you're going towards the lows of the week on a Friday. That's a problem. On the upside, then we got Disney. And Disney, you can see now is inside on the 60 here in the lower left, right? So one of the things that we discussed here in our channel was that let's say that you came in long. Oftentimes when people have gains, they just want to take them right away and be like, "Oh, this is great. You know, man, I'm just going to take it." The thing is, you don't need to do that. The guys on the wrong side are the people that need to do that, right? So you can see here on the inside 15, this is where you double up and buy more. If you're long from down here, you get more right here and take it and stick it to them all the way up. If you go to the 30, see this 30 Momo hammer came in a little bit. And then here, you can see here, inside bar, pokes down hammer. In the next half an hour, if this market starts to firm up at all, and you start to take this out, that's going to get my attention over 175.80, right? That would be a rev strat. One, two back up. And another thing you want to be mindful of on a Friday, options are expiring. Q's going to the lows as I speak. These things got problems. Is that when you start working around strikes, 170, 175, all this kind of stuff, you can lock your profits in by buying the puts and locking it by the 175 puts. That way, you've got so much in. If it keeps going, it's called a synthetic call, right? You're still long and you're protected to the downside, right? And if you did that around 170 and stuff like that, you got all these gains going. Right now, we are deteriorating QQQ going to the lows. So if we take a look at QQQ, once again, you can see it taking out the highs and then coming back through previous range. As of right now, it'd still be an inside day, but starting to work on that. You can see that ever since that 60, right here, deteriorating on the simultaneous break that's still going. On the upside, we did have Baidu. Been talking about that all week. And Baidu comes in a little bit on the 60. You can see that was 2 up, 2 down. So that would have to reset. But one of the things you want to look for is these consistent taking out previous day's highs on the week, right? This thing's getting bought, right? So it's also a used to be somebody. If you go back in time and look at where Baidu has been in the past, Baidu's been a lot higher. That's been a lot higher. We like to nowhere near the highs, and obviously there's China problems and all that kind of stuff. Right now, Q's going to the low, so I'm just going to touch on the long side here. PFPT. And PFPT is another one we've been watching because of this monthly. Here. The 2 down, the 2 up, and back to previous range. Look at this. This thing's still hanging around the highs of the week. If we go to, here's an important lesson too on magnitude. How far is something going to go? If you look at FEYE, right? Now it's come back in, right? Something we call triangle the out. So if you go to the daily here, you're going to see this. Gaps down, then takes out slight to the lower low, and then boom. All we're looking for here is these two bars have become an outside bar of this. That happened, right? That's your magnitude, was to take this out. Then we don't know. So you would protect yourself if you got long off of this here, coming back through here at 1424, and you'd already be out, right? Then you can reload if it sets up again. But understanding that that's how you gauge magnitude is very important. We have MDB, MongoDB. MongoDB don't care. Look at this thing. Inside 60s, right near the highs. So if we can firm up at all, right now, we just tick down into slight lower lows. The heat's still on. You'd need that 60 in these futures to go back green, but here you can see this inside 60 hanging near the highs of ever and still doing well. If we go to Chewy, don't feed the dog. Feed that dog. Inside day to the upside. You see this? Outside day, inside day, 312 Chicago in the house. Now that's important to know about, because what that means is they're willing to sell down and pay up. Then they met back in the middle and said, you bring your guns, I'll bring mine. Boom, long side wins. You see down here in the lower left, you're going to see an inside 60 right here. All right. Okay. Right now, going back to the lows is the Qs. If we go to NH, and NH shenaniganer, but pops up once again magnitude. See how here in the monthly it took out those highs? Then you'd want to protect that, right? And then it comes back in. If we go to new issue CERT, and CERT just went issue today, so we'll see how this goes. Had a nice run, then halted. So we can see either side of this 15er is going to get my attention. We're going to the lows right now. Q's net SPY going to the lows. As I said, maybe we get our outside week today. Maybe we don't. But right now they're deteriorating. And that's why you want to know about an inside 60. You want to know this when these happen in the futures. That's why we put on the gorilla suit and ring the triangle and go on Twitter. Because when I ring the triangle for people that are doing something else in their house, but they're still listening, that tells them that it's go time. Because if you knew that, not only is it inside 60 simultaneous break, it's a Friday. You can get those cheap puts, right? Bam! See you later. Thanks for playing. If we go to Qualcomm having some big issues here. You can see this now already an outside week. So once it started to gap here on the daily, coming back through here, anything that's potentially an outside week, that's something I'd want to know about, especially when it turns red on the month. Here on the lower middle, 148.79, right? So here you can see this. It opens here, 149.24. Then it pokes up, but once it starts coming through here and turns everything red, that's something I definitely want to know about. That's go time. That's full time frame continuity, the downside. That tells me to keep an eye on the SMH. How are you semis doing? Getting closer to an outside week. See? Now getting closer to turn the month red and skirting the lows. So you've got some of these things. What a difference a day makes. You got LRCX after this 2-2 reversal here, potential red. If we go to XLV, an XLV inside day to the downside in XLV, right? That's something I'd want to know about too. right? Because also in the lower left, you're going to see this inside 60 as well. Simultaneous break. Everybody breaking, right? When that happens, that means they're selling everything, all right? It means get out of the way or get short, okay? What a difference a day makes. ALXO. Ah, this is why we talk about exhaustion risk. When you're going into new highs, these buyers better step up again, right? Because ain't nobody short this thing. They got carried out yesterday. Then you come in here and what happened? Bought them all up, bottom drops out. Still an inside day, but you can see how the heat comes back through here. And so yesterday would be green. You're not going to get short. Today you come in, and this 60 goes 2-2 reversal right here. Right back down below 107.44. Puke down to 83.50. Right? Call that the pivot machine gun. If they ran out of all their bullets yesterday, boom, right back down. What a difference a day makes, because remember SGMO from yesterday. SGMO straight up yesterday, and then what happened? Exhaustion risk. They took out everybody. Anybody who was short against any of this stuff got taken out. If the buyers don't step up, you get this, and you drop back in. All right, market's trying to firm up a little bit. I'm always running out of time. I tell you, you got Penn here. And Penn, you're going to see this on the monthly. The inside month to the downside, right? The 3-1-2 reversal. Right? That's something I want to know about? Definitely is, because then you just wait for it to pop up. Here, 2 up, 2 down. Boom. Right there. Yesterday below 202.13. Now trading 185.50, right? Real nice. Outside week 2. If we go to AGIO, been talking about this every video, I think, this week, including the weekend video last weekend. Here, the 2-2 reversal. Boom, pivot machine gun. Where are we going? We're going to take this out. What's that? That's 33.02. Did we take that out? We did. All right. Outside month. Pivot machine gun week. This is exactly what you look for. It was in the weekend video. It's been in every video that I've made this week. Every nightly and every strat time report. And there you have it. Okay. If we go to edit, what a difference a day makes. Here, edit. Did the buyers step back up? They didn't. Did you get a 2-2 reversal on your 60? On the lower, you did. Right here. So right here, they jammed them. That was it. And then, boom, right back down, short them. Below 64.16, trading 58. We call that country and western. Long yesterday, short today. Make more than they actually move. If we go to Lulu, and Lulu, here on the gap down, you can see this here. This is what you want to look for on a slight gap, right? You see this when it gaps here in the lower left? You still had all this pivot machine gun to go after. And at the time, you also went red on all major time frames. It also triggered this on the upper middle, the 2-2 week to the downside, below 357.49, right? That's here, right? That's here. So you got your machine gun on the daily here. Then you got your 2-2 reversal here to give you this nice long red bar if you're on top of that. If we go to JK Solar, you can see this upper left, inside day, equilibrium, boom, to the downside, right? And so when that happens, what that triggers is here in the upper middle, and this is lower middle. The inside month to the downside, below 55.82, right? And then what happened? Everybody went inside on the 60 here, simultaneous break below here, 53.42, and bam, off you go. So right now, trying to stabilize a little bit here in the SPY, but for the most part, most things looking like outside weeks to the downside, unless that gets thwarted. It's important to remember, though, coming in Monday, that 3 of the 4 major time frames start over again. But at this point, we're closer to being outside weeks to the downside or compound by continuing that next week until things change. That's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith and Black Channel here at TikTok with the Strat Time Report.